Conferencia en Davos con, recordemos, el enviado especial a Estados Unidos para los Emiratos Árabes, con presidentes como el de la República de Uzbekistán, el primer ministro de Mongolia, también Javier Milei, el presidente argentino, los integrantes de esta Junta de Paz. Recordemos algunos países algo extravagantes, con algunos países que se están pensando como Italia, como Reino Unido y con, de momento, el único país que ha mostrado su rechazo como Francia.
Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump a este Foro Económico Mundial, a este panel en el que van a explicar en qué consiste esa Carta de Paz, esa carta donde se especifica en qué consiste este mecanismo alternativo a la OTAN, que no es otro que la Junta de Paz. Hasta 60 países que han sido invitados para formar parte de este Consejo de Paz.
Long in the making. And many countries have just received their notice, and everybody wants to be a part of it. And we'll work with many others, including the United Nations. But I want to thank you all for being here. Yesterday we had an incredibly successful visit with many of the world's top business leaders, the best, the biggest, most successful, and foreign heads of state. And now we have one of the most important meetings of all, the official formation of what is known as the Board of Peace. I want to thank the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner, and their extraordinary work. I mean, they've done an amazing job. We have peace in the Middle East. Nobody thought that was possible. We've settled 8 wars, and I believe another one's coming pretty soon. You know what that is? The one that I thought was going to be an easy one has turned out to be probably the most difficult. Last month, 29,000 people died, mostly soldiers, Ukraine, Russia. Think of that, 29,000, 27,000 in the month before, 26,000 in the month before that. It's terrible. But we have meetings and we think we're making a lot of progress. Thanks as well to Secretaries Scott Bessent, Howard Lutnick, and Chris Wright, U.S. Trade Representative, Jameson Greer. They're all doing such an incredible job. Ambassador Callista Gingrich, who is here, doing a fantastic, really fantastic work. Thank you, Callista. And many other members of my administration who are so committed to peace, and they're also committed to great success. Very importantly, let me recognize the very first group of distinguished members of the Board of Peace. They will be introduced by name in just a moment. Caroline will be doing that introduction. And to each and every one of you, we are truly honored by your presence today. Leaders of countries, in most cases, very popular leaders. Some cases not so popular, but that's the way it goes in life. Thanks as well to President Karol Nawrocki of Poland, who's a fantastic man. He just won a very big election. I'm very proud of him. Amazing. Along with former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Tony Blair. Thank you, Tony, for being here. We appreciate it. And members of the Board of Peace Executive Board, great group. This week marks the 1-year anniversary of my second inauguration as president. No administration in history has achieved such a sweeping turnaround in 12 months' time at home and abroad. We have a tremendous mandate. We won the popular vote by millions. We won every swing state to 7. They were saying, can you win all 7? Is it possible? Because it's not done. And we won all 7. We have a great mandate back at home. As I said yesterday, the U.S. economy is booming with virtually no inflation. It was 1.2% for the last 3 months. And we inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. And we have economic growth now of 5.4%, looks like. And I think that number can double and triple if we do the right things. And if we change thinking so that if you announce good numbers, the markets go up, instead of if you announce good numbers, the market goes down because everybody tries to kill it by lowering or raising interest rates depending on the situation. When America booms, the entire world booms. And we have secured commitments for over $18 trillion in new investment coming into our country, which is a record by many times over, not just by a little bit, by many times. There's no country ever in history that's gotten anywhere near that number. Slashed our trade deficit by 77%. This is in 1 year. Yesterday was 1 year. And signed historic trade deals with nations from all over the globe. Today, the world is richer, safer, and much more peaceful than it was just 1 year ago. We put out all those fires. A lot of people didn't know, including me, that some of those wars were going on. And some of them were going on for, in one case, 32 years, in another case, 35 years, and another one, 37 years. We were very happy to stop the war that had started with India and Pakistan, two nuclear nations. And I was very honored when the Prime Minister of Pakistan said President Trump saved 10 and maybe 20 million lives by getting that stopped just before bad things were going to happen. As president, I ended those 8 wars in 9 months, including Cambodia and Thailand. And by the way, many of the leaders are here. Kosovo and Serbia, the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia. We're working on that right now. I met yesterday with a very good general and a very good leader of Egypt. We're working on a dam that was built, which precludes the Nile River from getting water. It's a little tough situation, but we'll get that settled. I really had it just about settled in my first term, and then we had a rigged election. Took me out of commission for a little while, but here I am back. We'll get it settled. But it's a pretty tough situation. A dam was built and the water doesn't come down to the Nile. When I think of Egypt, I think of the Nile, but I think of the Nile with water in it. Armenia and Azerbaijan, a lot of these leaders have become my friends. They become my friends. They're here. And of course, the war in Gaza, which is really coming to an end. We have little fires that we'll put out, but they're little. They were giant, massive fires, and now they're down to little fires. We can put them out very easily. We have 59 countries that are involved in peace in the Middle East. Many of them not in the Middle East. They're near the Middle East, but they're not in the Middle East. And many have said that if Hamas doesn't do what they promised they would do, and I think they probably will, but they were born with rifles in their hands.
Donald Trump, que asegura que hoy el mundo es más rico, pacífico y seguro porque están teniendo pequeños incendios que están apagando, como la guerra en Gaza, asegurando que ninguna administración ha logrado un giro tan radical en los últimos 12 meses.
Countries have told me we want to go in and do it, and they really aren't countries that you traditionally think of as being involved in that. But that's a fire. Hezbollah in Lebanon, we have to do something about that. But these are, I call them remnants. They're small remnants compared to what it was before. It was massive, large, powerful countries fighting each other. In another great victory for the ultimate goal of peace, in June, we obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity with Operation, we call it Operation Midnight Hammer. It was midnight, it was dark, no moon, and every single one of those bombs from the B-2 bombers hit the air shafts and went deep into the earth and totally obliterated everything that they were doing. They were 2 months away from having a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And Iran does want to talk, and we'll talk. We've also hit ISIS in Syria, and very strongly, as you know. In my first administration, I took out al-Baghdadi, the founder of ISIS, and he was trying to start it up again because due to the tremendous talent of General Raisin Cane, as I call him. He wiped out ISIS in a period of 3 weeks in my first term. You know, we had a great first term, but the second term is, I think, blowing it away, actually. But we took out ISIS, and we had it was gone. But during the Biden administration, it formed again a little bit. We hit it very hard in Syria. And Syria, by the way, I spoke with the president, is making a lot of progress, tremendous progress, actually. We're very happy about that. We took off all sanctions, which gives them a chance to breathe. And he is working very, very hard, and I think he's going to put it all together. So many things are happening, many good things. Threats to Europe and America, the Middle East, and other places are really calming down. It's a lot different than it was just 1 year ago. Just 1 year ago, the world was actually on fire. A lot of people didn't know it. And in Nigeria, we're annihilating terrorists who are killing Christians. We've hit them very hard. They've killed thousands and thousands of Christians. What's that all about? Much of this unprecedented success is possible because I rebuilt our military in my first term, and now we're making it even stronger. We have a budget of over $1 trillion this year, and next year we're going to 1.5 trillion. Our country's never done better economically. We're taking in numbers that we've never taken in, not only the fact that the investment is at 18 trillion plus, but our jobs numbers, everything is, I think, maybe better than ever before. I think you're going to see a lot of you are investing in our country.
Donald Trump asegurando que tienen pequeños incendios que están apagando, como la amenaza del ISIS en Siria o los aspectos relacionados con el programa nuclear en Irán, asegurando que el mundo hoy es más pacífico, más rico, más próspero y más seguro. En directo, Donald Trump desde Davos presentando la Carta del Consejo de Paz.
I don't know why we're going to have to talk to Spain. With America's renewed attention to security of the Western Hemisphere, I've stopped the invasion on our southern border and designated the drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And you probably saw that we've virtually stopped almost 100% all drugs coming in by water. Now we're going to stop them on land. The land is easy. The water is tough. But that's down now. I heard it just last night. It was 97, now it's 98.1%. And we're trying to figure out who are the 2% that are willing to get onto those boats. I don't think they watch television or the news. But we've taken out almost 100% of all of the drugs coming into the United States by water. And now we'll, I think, very easily stop them on land. That's the easy part. We wanted to wait till the other was taken care of. And earlier this month, thanks to the unrivaled skill, power, and might of the U.S. military. We have the most powerful military in the world by far. We captured the outlaw dictator, Nicolas Maduro, and the people of Venezuela are very happy about it. And we're having great relationships with the new leaders of Venezuela. The relationships have been good. We're opening up the country to our giant oil companies. And it's going very well. We've already taken out, think of this, 50 million barrels of oil. And a lot of that's going to go back to Venezuela. They'll do more income with us in a short period of time than they did in years. Because as much oil as they have, and they have a lot, just about the most. After us, there's a couple of countries that are in that category, but we have the most, actually, and they're second between Venezuela and us. We have 62% of the world's oil, but they have very little production, so they'll have a lot of production. All the oil companies, we had meetings, you probably saw, all the oil companies want to go in. They want to go in immediately. They're already touring the sites. But our military was amazing. That strike was amazing. We had a second wave coming. We didn't need it. They said, no second wave. We don't want a second wave. The first wave was enough. And of course, we're working to end the horrible killing in Ukraine, a war that should never have happened and would have never happened if I were president. That was not going to happen. I used to speak to Vladimir Putin about Ukraine, and it was the apple of his eye, but he would never have ever done it. Said, you can't do that, Vladimir. As part of this historic record of major peace initiatives, today we're announcing more details regarding the Board of Peace, so important. This board has the chance to be one of the most consequential bodies ever created, and it's my enormous honor to serve as its chairman. I was very honored when they asked me to do it. We had an idea to do it, and then they came. They said, "You be the chairman." And but I take it very seriously. We have a great group of people and incredible young people that are leading it from within. It's running beautifully. Started already. And every country, just about every country wants to...
Donald Trump defendiendo la fortaleza de su ejército, un ejército inigualable que ha permitido, entre otras cosas, la captura de Nicolás Maduro, también defendiendo que han sacado 50 millones de barriles de Venezuela y presumiendo Donald Trump de que tienen el 62% del escudo mundial. Ahora, hablando sobre Ucrania, sobre esas garantías de seguridad, sobre una guerra que, según dice, si hubiera llegado al poder y no Biden, nunca se habría producido. Seguimos en directo esta presentación de la Carta del Consejo de Paz de Donald Trump, del Foro de Davos.
Actually, this group, I like every single one of them. Can you believe it? Usually I have about 2 or 3 that I can't stand. Usually I have 2 or 3 that I don't like. I don't find them up here. I like every one of these people. No, they're great people. They're great leaders. And the Board of Peace is composed of leaders, the top leaders in the world, actually. Last October, we released a plan for the permanent end to the conflict in Gaza, and I'm pleased to say that our vision was unanimously adopted by the United Nations Security Council late last year. Under phase 1 of this plan, we have painstakingly maintained that Gaza, and we're going to have it very strongly, and it's what we have, maintained the Gaza ceasefire, delivered record levels of humanitarian aid. We've given aid, you know, you used to hear all the people were starving and it was terrible. Now we have, you don't hear that anymore. We've delivered record levels of humanitarian aid. I want to thank the United States, but I want to thank some of the countries that are sitting right up here, because they've sent great aid also in the form of money, where we go out and purchase food, and you don't hear those stories anymore with people starving. And secured the release of all 20, we secured the release of all 20 living hostages. Now, I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared and everybody for working so hard. They worked so hard, but there were 20 remaining living hostages. Now, we got hundreds out, but the last 20, I said, boy, that's going to be a tough one. I said that a year before, and it was a tough one, but we got them. Got all 20, every one of them. And we had also about 28 that were dead, but the parents wanted them just as though they were living, just as much. Some cases it almost seemed more. It was amazing, actually, the love in them. But their boy had been killed in just about all cases, young men. Their boy had been killed, and they wanted the body of the boy, and it looked like it couldn't be done. And with the exception of one, and we're close on the track of that, we've got them all, every single one of them, which is amazing. It's a rough job. That was a rough job. And I've been very clear that Hamas must return that last remaining deceased hostage as well, and that will be the full commitment. And then we get on to other things, and we're committed to ensuring Gaza is demilitarized, properly governed, and beautifully rebuilt. It's going to be a great plan, and that's where the Board of Peace really started. And I think we can spread out to other things as we succeed with Gaza. We're going to be very successful in Gaza. It's going to be a great thing to watch, and we can do other things. We can do numerous other things. Once this board is completely formed, we can do pretty much whatever we want to do, and we'll do it in conjunction with the United Nations. You know, I've always said the United Nations has got tremendous potential, has not used it. But there's tremendous potential in the United Nations, and you have some great people at the United Nations. But so far it hasn't. You know, on the 8 wars that I ended, I never spoke to the United Nations about any of them. And you would think that I should have. You would think they could have done those 8 wars, but they couldn't have, and they tried, I guess, in some of them, but they didn't try hard enough. But there's tremendous potential with the United Nations, and I think the combination of the Board of Peace with the kind of people we have here, coupled with the United Nations, can be something very, very unique for the world. It's for the world. This isn't United States. This is for the world. As everyone can see today, the first steps toward a brighter day for the Middle East and a much safer future for the world are unfolding right before your very eyes. Together, we are in a position to have an incredible chance. I don't even call it a chance. I think it's going to happen. To end decades of suffering, stop generations of hatred and bloodshed, and forge a beautiful, everlasting, and glorious peace for that region and for the whole region of the world, because I'm calling the world a region. The world is a region. We're going to have peace in the world. And boy, would that be a great legacy for all of us. Everybody in this room is a star, or you wouldn't be here. There's a reason that you're here, and you're all stars. You're the biggest people, the most important people in the world, most powerful people in the world. And when you use that genius that you have, that very unusual, very inspired genius, when you use that for peace, the opposite of peace has no chance. So I just want to say it's tremendous to be with you, and I think this is something that we're doing that's very important.
La carta del Consejo de Paz de Donald Trump va tomando cuerpo, de nuevo planteando ese desafío a la ONU, asegurando que no han hecho lo suficiente por las 8 guerras que él sí ha conseguido concluir, asegurando que van a tener paz en el mundo y que cada uno de los integrantes de esta carta del Consejo de Paz son estrellas.
Isa of Bahrain and Foreign Minister Reta of Morocco to join me in signing and ratifying the Board of Peace Charter. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.
A todos los asistentes, recordemos que son más de 80 países que integran este Consejo de Paz, esta carta que va a proceder en breves instantes Donald Trump a firmar, una carta que surge como una alternativa a la OTAN para servir a los intereses del presidente estadounidense. Por el momento, Francia es el único país invitado en haber rechazado oficialmente unirse a este proyecto. Recordemos, el Consejo de Paz, iniciativa para impulsar la diplomacia estadounidense, promover la estabilidad, la gobernanza fiable y legítima, dice Donald Trump, que ha detenido 8 guerras y que están haciendo un mundo más justo, más seguro, más pacífico. Un Trump que pone el foco en Gaza, aunque habla de continuar los esfuerzos de paz en varios conflictos, en todos los conflictos, a medida que surjan. Decía Donald Trump que han conseguido apagar los fuegos. Ese es el momento.
Congratulations, President Trump. The charter is now in full force and the Board of Peace is now an official international organization. We will now continue the signing ceremonies, beginning with
Las palabras de la secretaria de prensa Caroline Leavitt, también forma parte de esa comitiva de Donald Trump, de uno de los proyectos más importantes de este segundo año de su segundo mandato, que a pesar de todo la estructura es difusa. En estos momentos está firmando esa carta del Consejo de Paz el presidente argentino Javier Milei, de momento a la espera de conocerse más detalles de este plan de Gaza. Donald Trump también poniendo el énfasis en Gaza, en un consejo que pretende hacer un giro a la diplomacia, pero un modelo medianamente, digamos, privado, un modelo de junta privada, una estructura que viene a competir con la ONU, sobre la cual Donald Trump ya ha dejado algún recado, algún mensaje, asegurando que probablemente no han hecho lo suficiente por todos los conflictos que hay en el mundo. Paz duradera, controlada, eso sí, de forma prácticamente unilateral por el presidente republicano. Continúan llegando más líderes de Estado y de Gobierno, de esos 80 invitados para firmar esta carta del Consejo de Paz de Trump. Un Donald Trump que está bajo esa mirada viendo cómo los países siguen firmando esta carta. Insistimos, muchos países invitados, algunos pensándoselo como Giorgia Meloni, asegurando que no está para nada en contra, pero necesita tiempo para estudiar en qué consiste esta propuesta, esa famosa Junta de Paz, un organismo que en principio iba a ser para pilotar la transición en la Franja de Gaza, pero que finalmente se va a extender a más países y que van a, en este caso, debatir sobre otros conflictos. Una carta sobre la cual este proyecto, esta Junta de Paz, Donald Trump tendría la capacidad de gestionar los fondos. También la adhesión de los países invitados al Consejo estaría limitada a 3 años. Si alguno desea permanecer más de un año, está previsto que contribuya al fondo gestionado por Donald Trump con $1.000 millones en efectivo. Recordemos esa situación, la presentación de esta Junta de Paz, esta carta del Consejo de Paz de Donald Trump para hacer frente a la Carta de Naciones Unidas, una alternativa a este organismo creado tras los juicios de Nuremberg, tras el fin de la Segunda Guerra Mundial y que continúan teniendo ese derecho a veto, el poder de veto, los países que ganaron la Segunda Guerra Mundial, entre ellos Estados Unidos, que parece que está proponiendo una alternativa económica sustanciosa, negocio con los conflictos. Y Donald Trump, que se espera que los márgenes de esta Foro Económico Mundial de Davos también tenga en esa agenda tan apretada del presidente estadounidense una reunión con Volodymyr Zelensky, además de seguir manteniendo la presión sobre otros países que integren esta Junta de Paz. Recordemos, de momento, el único país que ha rechazado de forma oficial la unión a este club de Trump es Francia. Otros países que se han unido como Argentina, también ha aceptado la invitación Kazajistán, Polonia, de momento Marruecos, así como Paraguay y Tailandia. De momento han sido invitados tanto Canadá como Brasil como Rusia, un Vladimir Putin que no ha asistido al Foro Económico Mundial de Davos por cuestiones de seguridad y también ha asegurado que se unirá a este mecanismo creado por Donald Trump. Un Vladimir Putin que también va a recibir esta tarde-noche al enviado especial de la Casa Blanca, Steve Witkoff, así como al yerno de Trump, Jared Kushner. Otros países invitados como China, como Australia, como Papúa Nueva Guinea, además de Egipto, España, Portugal, Turquía, Italia, Alemania, Reino Unido y que todavía no se han pronunciado. De tensión que está puesto en el viejo continente, más allá de la situación de la seguridad en el Ártico y de la cuestión groenlandesa. Varios gobiernos europeos han mostrado su preocupación por el impacto que esta organización podría tener en la credibilidad y la labor de la ONU. Algunas fuentes de la Casa Blanca indican que, en particular, el presidente estadounidense desea que el Consejo de Paz desempeñe a largo plazo un papel más amplio, más allá de Gaza, para supervisar otros conflictos. El texto de la carta no menciona ningún conflicto en particular. Un Donald Trump que habla de la declaración de una paz duradera que requiere, dice, un juicio pragmático, soluciones sensatas y el valor de alejarse de los enfoques e instituciones que con demasiada frecuencia han fracasado.
Next, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Turkey. Next, the chairman of the Executive Authority Affairs of the UAE and the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan.
Continúan llegando los países invitados a formar parte del Consejo de Paz de Donald Trump, una carta que está siendo firmada, entre otros, por el ministro de Exteriores turco, Adam Fikan, en un contexto en el que podemos leerles algunos de esos artículos que forman parte de esta carta. Los Estados miembros, que básicamente estará compuesto este Consejo de Paz por los Estados invitados a participar por el presidente Trump, con efecto a partir de la notificación de la aceptación por parte de este Estado interesado en quedar vinculado a la Carta. Las responsabilidades que tienen los Estados miembros: apoyar o asistir a las operaciones del Consejo de Paz de conformidad con sus respectivas autoridades jurídicas nacionales. Ninguna disposición de la Carta podrá interpretarse en el sentido de que confiera al Consejo de Paz competencias sobre el territorio de los Estados miembros o de que obliga a los participantes a una misión concreta de consolidación de la paz sin su consentimiento. Y este es uno de los aspectos más fundamentales. Cada miembro ejercerá un mandato de una duración máxima de 3 años. La duración de 3 años del mandato no se aplicará a los Estados miembros que aporten más de $1 millón en efectivo al Consejo de Paz durante el primer año siguiente a la entrada en vigor de la Carta. Donald Trump creando una suerte de club privado para, en este caso, asegurar la paz en los focos de conflicto del mundo, pero previo pago de $1 millón.
Congratulations, everyone. This concludes the signing ceremony. If President Trump and all of the Board of Peace members could please join the President around the table. The President is now going to sign the inaugural resolution that will resolve the Board of Peace's Gaza mandate per the United Nations Security Council Resolution.
Pues está a punto de concluir esta firma de la Carta del Consejo de Paz de Donald Trump en el Foro de Davos, aquí haciendo, en este caso, la foto de rigor con el presidente estadounidense y con los países integrantes. Un Donald Trump que, según el artículo 3.2 de esta carta, será el primer presidente del Consejo de Paz y el primer representante de Estados Unidos. Tendrá la facultad exclusiva de crear, modificar o disolver las entidades subsidiarias si lo considerara necesario. Hay otro artículo de esta carta sobre la sucesión y sustitución, porque el presidente Trump, para más señas, designará en cualquier momento a su sucesor para el cargo. La sustitución solo podría tener lugar tras una dimisión voluntaria o por incapacidad. Así se van a retirar los países integrantes de este nuevo mecanismo que ha presentado Donald Trump en un marco como el del Foro Económico Mundial en Davos, la Carta del Consejo de Paz, sobre la cual no hay demasiados detalles, pero se lo estamos dando en riguroso directo. Recordemos, un presidente estadounidense, Donald Trump, le cede Caroline Leavitt el testigo al secretario de Estado estadounidense, a Marco Rubio.
It's a historic presidency because the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is someone who is not limited by what others say is possible or what others say is impossible. He's not limited by some of the things that have happened in the past, and he's willing to talk to or engage with anyone in the interest of peace, always putting the American people and our national security first, but understanding that in the world that we share with so many others, peace is paramount to all of us. We are here today because of President Trump's vision. If we go back just a few months ago, people thought what was happening in Gaza was impossible to solve. 28 hostages that were dead, others that were still living, all these hostages that were being held. No one thought that that would ever come to a resolution without more fighting and more bloodshed along the way. In fact, frankly, many thought it was intractable. And sadly, many of the institutions that have served us well, in many cases, for the last 70 years, were unable to do anything about it. But President Trump had the vision and the courage to dream the impossible, to believe that it was doable, and to pursue it with all his heart. And he was in that capacity assisted by an extraordinary team, and I think both Jared and Steve deserve a tremendous amount of credit, Jared Kushner and Steve Woodcock, for all the work they put in. And all of our partners here today. And now we have this Board of Peace, who I believe possibilities are endless. Obviously, with a focus first and foremost on making sure that this peace deal in Gaza becomes enduring. And I know this president has it as his highest priority and will give it everything he has to make sure that this is successful. I also want to acknowledge the extraordinary leaders that are here today. This is not just a Board of Peace, this is a Board of Action. Just like President Trump is a president of action. A lot of times people like to give speeches. I've been to many of these forums, and they're not useless, and they're not, not they have utility in many cases. But oftentimes in international affairs, we often find ourselves at events where people are reading these scripted statements, these strongly worded letters that they put out, but no action, nothing happens. This is a group of leaders that are about action. And the President of the United States is a president of action, of getting things done. And today is the beginning of that, of a new era and a new stage that we think is so important as a model to the rest of the world of what is possible. And clearly the focus is right now on Gaza and making sure that the plan that's about to be presented to you here today, this vision for the future of Gaza, this vision for the future of the region, is not just possible and promising. It is our destiny if we put the time and the effort that it requires, as I know this board will do. But I also think it will serve as an example of what's possible in other parts of the world. Without losing focus on what's before us now, this is what's possible for other places and other conflicts that seem impossible to solve right now. So I want to, on behalf of the United States, on behalf of the team that worked so hard on this, thank every single one of the leaders that are here today and all of the countries that have committed to joining, and many others who are going to join. You know, others either are not in town today or they have to go through some procedure internally in their own country because of constitutional limitations. And you see it reflected here today among countries of different backgrounds from different parts of the world, majority Christian, some, majority Muslim, others, who've come together. In fact, former adversaries who have joined here as part of this Board of Peace. And all was possible, and I want to acknowledge this again, because of the vision and the drive of the President of the United States. So thank you all for joining us here today. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Secretary Rubio. Please, if you could now turn your attention to the screens for a video message from the head of the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza, Dr. Ali Shaith.
Distinguished leaders, colleagues, and friends, it is an honor to be here today. I want to start by thanking President Donald J. Trump and his administration for their intensive efforts to advance peace in the whole region. I also thank Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Qatar, and Turkey as mediators, the Palestinian Authority, and members of the United Nations Security Council for welcoming the comprehensive peace plan. These efforts created the opportunity for a new future in Gaza Strip. But what will really matter is what comes next. This transition will succeed only if it delivers real, tangible improvements in daily life for Gazans. As Chief Commissioner of the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza, it's my responsibility to turn this moment into action, to restore order, to rebuild institutions, and to create a future for the people of Gaza defined by opportunity and dignity, under the principle of one authority,
I now would like to welcome to the podium U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome here. This is really my honor to be up here speaking. I remember when the president asked Jared, and of course our great Secretary of State, to work on something that the world thought was impossible and unattainable. But the president, on this peace deal for Gaza, as on all other deals we work on his behalf, said we had to try. And of course, we were inspired by that. We have achieved a peace deal in Gaza. We have brought the hostages home, all of the bodies except for one, and we will bring that body home too. And maybe most importantly, we have created a sense of hope for what the future can bring in Gaza and all other places where the board of peace will operate. And I am so honored, Mr. President, to have worked on this on your behalf. I'd like to thank some people who are here with us tonight who have done so much, done indispensable work to bring this deal together. Sheikh Mohammed, my good friend from Qatar, and Ali Al-Tawadi, Hakan, Fidan, and Ibrahim, General Hassan, and Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati, and of course, President Sisi, and Prime Minister Netanyahu, former Special Envoy Ron Dermer, and Michael Eisenberg for all that they did. I would also like to thank our core working group and members of the Board of Peace who have been working nonstop on behalf of this incredible, noble effort, around the clock for months on end, sacrificing time with their families and their own personal lives because they believe in the mission and the vision that the president has set out for us. I'd also like to thank, those people include Tony Blair, Yakir Gabay, Josh Grunbaum, Aryeh Lightstone, Laron Tonkman, Admiral Cooper, General Frank, and I probably have forgotten some along the way. And then perhaps most importantly, I want to thank our administration. We have an incredible team. It's amazing to work for this administration. I think you see the results that we get on behalf of the president because he inspires us so much. So I'd like to thank the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, for all of his help and guidance, our Treasury Secretary, of course, the Secretary of State, who we work hand in glove with, and a special thanks to our Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, who is always available to us for consultation, for steering, and for all else that she does. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. And I have to say, one of the great honors for me of being able to work on this has been working with Steve, who really is as brilliant as he is. His heart is tremendous. It's a lot of fun to be with. And even in some of these, very difficult moments where we didn't think things were happening, working together really was an amazing treat. I'm going to go down today just through a couple quick slides just to show you the progress that's been made in the last couple months. It was just over 100 days ago that we got the final deal done, and everyone was celebrating and joyous about the hostages coming home and the end to this long war that nobody thought was possible. And Steve and I were panicking, saying, what do we do next? How do you implement peace? And as you guys know, peace is a different deal than a business deal because you're changing a mindset. And in Israel, there was 2 years of very intense war. For the people in Gaza, there was more than just 2 years of war. They had 20 years of hopelessness being ruled by a terrorist organization. For the people in the Middle East, their hearts were pulled by this. And throughout the entire world, it really was weighing on us. And so we needed to think about, what do we do next? How do we change the habits? How do we change the behaviors? And we really got to work right away. And the team that Steve thanked, including the White House team and the team, the volunteers, it's really been an incredible effort, very entrepreneurial. And we really did it in the way. I've been working now with President Trump for 10 years on politics. And what continues to amaze me is that he always takes a first principles approach and says, what's the most optimal outcome? aim for that. Whereas politicians are always focused on the downside or what could go wrong or how to make it a little bit better. He always says, aim for the best possible and, you know, do your best to get there. And if everyone thinks it's impossible, that's even more reason why you should aim for it. And so really thank you for the leadership and the inspiration for doing this. And I think you'll see today we've achieved more than thought was possible. And our ambition is still to go for something, I think, better than most people think is possible as well. So let's see if these things work. They never usually work. Good. So quickly, I'll go through this 2-year war, 90,000 tons of munitions. There's over 60 million tons of rubble there and tens of thousands of fatalities. Through the ceasefire, we were able to get to the 20-point plan, ceasefire, release of hostages. Getting the UN resolution passed was a huge, huge effort, really thanks to Mike Waltz and the whole team there. They did an incredible job. And we then, with the help of the UN, we've worked very, very well with them. This is why you need a new organization like the Board of Peace to work with the UN. I want to thank Tom Fletcher, did an incredible job of really getting it going. We've done historic humanitarian aid. Going forward, number one thing is going to be security. Obviously, we've been working very closely with the Israelis to figure out a way through de-escalation. And the next phase is working with Hamas on demilitarization, which I'll talk about in a second. But without security, nobody's going to make investments. Nobody's going to come, you know, build there. We need investments in order to start giving jobs. We want to take these people. 85% of the aid of Gaza, 85% of the GDP of Gaza has been aid for a long time. That's not sustainable. It doesn't give these people dignity. It doesn't give them hope. And so we want to use free market economy principles. A lot of what President Trump spoke about that he's doing in America, we want to bring the same mindset and the same approach to a place like Gaza to give these people the ability to thrive and have a good life. Let's see. So on the aid, I mentioned the UN. So now people are talking about famine. 100% of the food needs are met, and that's been overabundance. The cost of goods have gone down tremendously. Over 55,000 trucks have gone in, and over 1.4 million pallets. So it's been the largest humanitarian effort done into a war zone that anyone's been able to tell us about. This really has been a great joint effort that everyone's been able to do, and so it's a great thing. We all just heard from Ali. We have been so impressed. Steve and I were speaking to him and the entire committee. Such bravery of these people to step up, and we've worked with the Palestinian Authority, who's been helping us as well. But this committee is the first time it's a technocratic, apolitical committee. I really want to thank the Arab partners for helping us select the right people to do this, and we just need to believe in them and support them. I put this up here. It's probably a little too small for me to read, but this is really important if you saw the mission statement. So Hamas's mission statement was, we need to destroy the state of Israel. That has not worked well for the people, as we've seen. Their mission statement is, we are committed to establishing security, restoring the essential services that form the bedrock of human dignity, such electricity, water, healthcare, and education, as well as cultivating a society rooted in peace, democracy, and justice, operating with the highest standards of integrity, transparency. So these are the basic things. Their goal is to have peace and to help their people, which is an obvious mission statement for a government, but actually fairly novel for Gaza. So we did a master plan. We brought in, I thank you, Kirga Bai, who's one of the most successful real estate developers and brilliant people I know. He's volunteered to do this, not for profit, really because of his heart. He wants to do this. And we've developed ways to redevelop Gaza. Gaza, as President Trump's been saying, has amazing potential. And this is for the people of Gaza. We've developed it into zones. In the beginning, we were toying with the idea of saying, let's build a free zone, and then we have a Hamas zone. And then we said, you know what, let's just plan for catastrophic success. Hamas signed a deal to demilitarize. That is what we are going to enforce. People ask us what our plan B is. We do not have a plan B. We have a plan. We signed an agreement. We are all committed to making that agreement work. There's a master plan. We'll be doing it in phasing. In the Middle East, they build cities like this in 2-3 million people. They build this in 3 years. And so stuff like this is very doable if we make it happen. Rothel will start with, this will show a lot of workforce housing. We think this could be done in 2-3 years. We've already started removing the rubble and doing some of the demolition. And then New Gaza. It could be a hope, it could be a destination, have a lot of industry, and really be a place that the people there can thrive, have great employment. Once this starts going, we think there should be 100% full employment and opportunity for everybody there. And we have a lot of data on what can be, but we think that this really gives the Gazan people an opportunity to live their aspirations. But it all starts with security, and it all starts with governance. Final note I'll just say on the Board of Peace, which is that all the lessons we're doing is we're basically studying the best practices from all over the world, and we're watching who does education the best, who does healthcare delivery the best. All of these things it's not secret IP. All this is IP that the Board of Peace is going to make public, and we want to encourage all the countries to be able to follow these best practices. A lot of the things that President Trump is doing in America, If they're working, we should all be copying them. If we find what's working in other countries, we should be copying them too. And so what the Board of Peace will have the ability to do if we're successful with Gaza is really show how do you do peace implementation, which is something that when we got this deal done, we didn't really find too much expertise or know-how on how to do it. So as we're creating this system, hopefully it's something that we can just document these learnings and make them available to all else who want to use them in the future. So demilitarization, this is something we're starting now that we have a new government in Gaza. This government will be working with Hamas on the demilitarization to really take the principles that were agreed to in the document to the next phase, and hopefully that will be successful. Without that, we can't rebuild. So if Hamas does not demilitarize, that...
Muy buenos días, bienvenidos de nuevo a Negocios Televisión, bienvenidos a este espacio de las noticias pendientes de todas las últimas horas mirando a la Junta de Paz de Donald Trump. Ya es oficial con hasta 25 miembros, con Rusia, que parece que también va a enviar $1.000 millones en un momento crítico para la ONU y en un momento en el que hemos visto nuevos mensajes de Trump contra España. Enseguida vamos a contarles esto, vamos a mirar también al giro de Estados Unidos, al giro de Trump sobre Groenlandia con los líderes europeos que ya están hablando de crear su propia arma nuclear y en un momento, en un clima también de tensión en Oriente Medio. Nosotros vamos a empezar con las últimas horas, vamos a empezar con lo que es la noticia del día de hoy. El presidente de Estados Unidos que celebraba, como veían, este jueves la ceremonia de firma de los estatutos de su Consejo de Paz para supervisar la situación en la franja de Gaza. Se informó que se había invitado a unos 60 países a esta organización. Según el enviado especial del presidente de Estados Unidos, Steve Witkoff, unos 25 países han aceptado la invitación. Una serie de naciones, principalmente europeas, han expresado su escepticismo con respecto a esta propuesta del inquilino de la Casa Blanca, en concreto Francia, Alemania, Reino Unido y Noruega. Países como Dinamarca o incluso Italia, con Giorgia Meloni, también se quedan de momento a un lado. El presidente ruso, Vladimir Putin, agradecía a Trump la invitación este miércoles. Decía que se ha encomendado al Ministerio de Asuntos Exteriores que estudie los documentos recibidos, consulte con sus socios estratégicos y después proporcionará una respuesta. Indicaba que Rusia está dispuesta a donar al Consejo de Paz $1.000 millones de los activos rusos congelados en Estados Unidos. El presidente de Estados Unidos, que aseguraba este jueves que tendrá que hablar con España para que eleve el presupuesto militar, después de recalcar que es el único país de la OTAN que no se ha comprometido a gastar más en defensa. Este es el mensaje de Trump para España.
You haven't seen before. I also secured commitments from virtually all NATO allies to increase their defense spending to 5% of GDP. Everybody but Spain. I don't know what's happening with Spain. Why would they not do that? They want a free ride, I guess, huh? Every country but Spain increased to 5%. I don't know why. We're going to have to talk to Spain.
En su intervención ante el Foro de Davos para presentar la Junta de Paz para Gaza, Trump hacía repaso a los logros internacionales en el primer año de su mandato, incluyendo el acuerdo de la Cumbre de la Haya por el que los aliados europeos se comprometían a dedicar el 5% al gasto militar. Decía Trump, conseguí compromisos de prácticamente todos los aliados de la OTAN para aumentar su gasto en defensa hasta el 5%, todos menos España. Decía, no sé qué está pasando con España. Se ha preguntado la posición del gobierno de Pedro Sánchez, sugiriendo que quiere aprovecharse. Decía, no sé por qué, pero vamos a tener que hablar con España. Quieren viajar gratis. Este era el duro mensaje de Trump para Sánchez. El presidente ruso, Vladimir Putin, reiteraba este jueves que su país está dispuesto a transferir $1.000 millones al Consejo de Paz de Trump para apoyar a Palestina. Es lo que apuntaba en una reunión con precisamente el líder de la autoridad palestina, Mahmoud Abbas. Este miércoles también decía que Moscú va a decidir si se une a esta Junta de Paz propuesta por Trump después de revisar todos los documentos presentados y discutir la medida con sus socios. En su intervención en la reunión del Consejo de Seguridad, Putin expresaba el apoyo de Rusia a cualquier esfuerzo encaminado a la estabilidad internacional. Afirmaba que $1.000 millones de los activos extranjeros rusos congelados en Estados Unidos podrían destinarse a esta Junta de Paz. Destacaba la importancia de alcanzar una solución a largo plazo para el conflicto entre Israel y Palestina. Sin embargo, en Reino Unido, la ministra británica de Exteriores, Yvette Cooper, informaba este jueves de que no van a participar en la ceremonia de la firma de la Junta de la Paz impulsada por Donald Trump por la inquietud sobre Rusia. Trump, que como sabían, como veían hace escasos minutos, preside hoy en Davos esta ceremonia de puesta en marcha de esta junta. No va a contar, por ejemplo, con Reino Unido. Pretende ampliar esta junta también a otros conflictos. La ministra de Exteriores británica decía que Reino Unido apoya firmemente el plan de 20 puntos de Trump para la paz en Oriente Medio, pero que todavía queda mucho trabajo por delante. También hablaba en este sentido la primera ministra italiana Giorgia Meloni. Comentaba que no rechaza totalmente la idea de ser miembro de la Junta de Paz propuesta por Donald Trump, pero señaló que necesita más tiempo para evaluar posibles cuestiones constitucionales. En declaraciones al programa Porta a Porta, Meloni señalaba que Italia está abierta, disponible e interesada. Desde Italia o de Reino Unido, mirando esta Junta de Paz de Donald Trump, vamos a escuchar de nuevo al presidente de Estados Unidos en Davos.
We really got involved in this project, and it's a big one, but it's very doable. I said to Jared and Steve and some of the other folks, including Larry Fink, and congratulations on the great success. The two of you have done a fantastic job. This is bigger and better than ever. We usurped some of your time for a very important reason, and you understand that better than anybody, and we appreciate that you're here very much. Thank you both very much. But I said that, this is a great location. It all begins, see, I'm a real estate person at heart, and it's all about location. And I said, look at this location on the sea. Look at this beautiful piece of property, what it could be for so many people. It'll be so great. People that are living so poorly are going to be living so well. But it all began with the location. That's the vision. They look out on the waters, and very few places are like it. So we put together a team that's outstanding, a team that's done it before, a team that I think has done tougher jobs. If you want to know the truth, we've done some tough jobs. And we continue to, as far as the United States is concerned, we're behind it. And the United States has never been stronger, never been bigger, better. It's doing really well. You see that building thousands of businesses, plants, factories all over the United States are right now under construction. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And this is just an honor to be involved with this and to be involved with the great people in this room and the great leaders that are sitting on stage. We thank you very much. And we have many others that have signed up, and they all want to be members of the Board of Peace because it really will be important. This is not going to be a waste of time. We waste so much time on things that never happen. This will happen, and it's already happening. Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great honor to be with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hasta aquí llega esta ceremonia de firma de la Carta de la Junta de la Paz en Davos, en Suiza, como ven, con cerca de 20 líderes mundiales a los que uno a uno va despidiendo el presidente de Estados Unidos en este día histórico, en este día en el que también se pone en tela de juicio el papel de las Naciones Unidas, con el foco puesto en Gaza, pero lo decía el propio Trump, con una ceremonia, con una junta que también se puede extrapolar a otros conflictos. Día clave en Davos con un Donald Trump que, por cierto, en los próximos minutos se espera que se reúna con Volodymyr Zelensky, que también en apenas unos minutos parece que partirá de Davos, volverá a Estados Unidos, protagonista por sus giros con Groenlandia, pero también por presentar esta Junta de Paz en Davos. Todo esto después de que Trump afirmara haber acordado un marco de acuerdo sobre Groenlandia tras una reunión productiva con Mark Rutte, con el secretario general de la OTAN. Trump abandonaba sus planes de imponer aranceles adicionales a los países europeos a partir del 1 de febrero. Un presidente de Estados Unidos que también retiraba su amenaza de tomar la isla ártica por la fuerza. Declaraba a los líderes en Davos que solo Estados Unidos podía defender este territorio. Decía que el concepto de un acuerdo alcanzado con Rutte es a largo plazo y que durará para siempre. Evitaba entrar en detalles de este acuerdo, diciendo que Dinamarca y otros aliados europeos van a participar en el proyecto Golden Dome en Groenlandia.
It's going to be put out pretty soon. We'll see. It's right now a little bit in progress, but pretty far along. So it gets us everything we needed to get.
Will the U.S. still get Greenland? Will the U.S. still get Greenland, sir?
Say that convinced you.
Say it?
What did Mark Rutte say?
Well, he's a great leader. I think he's fantastic. He's Secretary General, who's representing the other side, which is really us too, because, you know, we're a very important member of NATO. I've done a lot for NATO. And it's really nice. I mean, it's a deal that everybody's very happy.
Mientras tanto, el secretario general de la OTAN, Mark Rutte, decía que aún queda mucho por hacer en Groenlandia después de que Donald Trump anunciara un marco